Super Paper Mario. For many people, this game easily claims a spot on Nintendo's top 10 anime betrayals. Released in 2007, the game quickly acquired an entire internet's worth of backlash from fans everywhere. I, however, have a different opinion, and I'd like to share it with you today. My name is Tyler James, and this is the first installment of a segment we like to call Unsung Heroes. To understand why reaction to Super Paper Mario was so negative, we need a little bit of context. Super Paper Mario is the third game in the Paper Mario series, following the Nintendo 64's Paper Mario and the GameCube's Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Both games were released to widespread critical and commercial success. The games were essentially simple JRPGs, and they were praised for their expansive environments, interesting plots, and witty writing. Together with the Game Boy Advance's Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, these games represented a golden age of sorts for Mario RPGs and indeed Mario spin-offs in general. The mid-2000s, however, were an interesting and turbulent time for Nintendo. A sequel to Superstar Saga, Mario & Luigi Partners in Time, was released in 2005. Though reception was mostly positive, most fans agreed that it was a disappointment compared to its predecessor. The next year, 2006, the Wii dropped, and while its sales were in the stratosphere, the perception of loyal fans was that the console was just a gimmick, and that the quality of its games were greatly diminished compared to systems of old. As Super Paper Mario was slated to be the first Mario game released on the console, expectations were high for it to reverse this trend. When the game dropped, however, fans were incensed. The genre of the game had changed, from a straight JRPG to a platformer with RPG elements, which greatly upset fans of the first two games in the series. Written off as not a real Paper Mario game, the public opinion of Super Paper Mario tanked, and fans of the series often point to it as the game that started the downward spiral that would later be cemented by Paper Mario Sticker Star. Now, astute viewers may have noticed that nothing I just said was an indictment of the game itself, only of its genre. And they'd be correct. While it's true that the platformer nature of the game is a big shift from its predecessors, that doesn't make it a bad game. Controls are effective and non-gimmicky. In fact, to my knowledge, this was the first Wii game to utilize the sideways Wiimote control scheme, which is often acknowledged as the most fluid feeling of the system's many control setups. And the game itself is simply an effective and fun platformer. But beyond that, the game still preserves, and even arguably improves on, aspects of the first two games that were so beloved by fans. The world of Flipside is an interesting hub with plenty of nooks and crannies to explore. And the other dimensions in the game, while made slightly awkward to explore by an attempted conversion to linear platformer-style levels, are still diverse and engaging environments. The writing, both plot-wise and humor-wise, is just as good as the first two games. In fact, one could argue that the writing is actually improved on its predecessors. The plot itself is engaging and interesting, with a legitimately surprising twist, and handles very dark subject matter very well. And it's clear that the localization team has become much better at translation and preserving the humor of the original Japanese script. Above all else, the game is just fun. The writing is humorous, the levels are interesting, the characters are varied and fun to use, and it all adds up to an enjoyable game experience. Super Paper Mario earned itself a bad rap for not being the exact same as the first two Paper Mario games. And somewhere along the line, that opinion got warped into a perception of it as a bad game in general. Hopefully, I've been able to help convince you to give this highly underrated game a second chance. Now, if you need help convincing yourself on Sticker Star, on the other hand, don't hold your breath. I've been Tyler James. Now back to the show.